In today's video, we're going to talk about dynamic content in Divi. This episode is made possible by divicake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the description below. All right, so dynamic content is really awesome. So I want to start by explaining how this works because it can be a bit confusing if you haven't used dynamic content before. And of course, this is a brand new feature. So how it works is it collects data from the database. Okay, so let's say you have a page and you want your page title to be displayed on a particular part of your website. You can use dynamic content to do that. So each and every page that you create will have that page title automatically inserted every time you create a brand new page. So this is very powerful because if you set your page template right, you don't have to actually go into the Divi builder and start creating or start adding all this content because it will be just pulled from the database right away. So these are the advantages of dynamic content. Now, this can be taken even a step further if you use external plugins like the advanced custom field plugins, where plugin which you can actually create your own custom posts and your custom content, which you can pull from the database as well. So the advantages of this plugin is you define what you want to pull from the database after you've created it. So what I'm going to do is this video is going to be split into two parts. So this first part is whereby I just go into Divi, show you where everything is and how you can apply it. And then in part two, this is where we get to build advanced pages, which allow you to build awesome looking websites. Now, you may underestimate the power of dynamic content, but you know what? This is what design agencies and advanced WordPress users actually use to create dynamic websites. So these are websites which when you add your content after defining it, it will just change every time you add those pages on. And sometimes you don't even have to touch the Divi builder after you've created the first template. So let me show you quickly how this actually works and where to find this dynamic content in Divi. So right here, I have a website. So let's start off by creating a brand new page. So I'm just going to come over here and click on add new. So I'm just going to call this page D content. Okay, I'm going to click on use Divi builder and then I'm going to go straight to the visual builder because I prefer using the visual builder when I create my pages. Right, so what I'm going to do here just to make things easier, I'm just going to go to build from scratch and then I can just show you how this works. So let's start off with 3 columns. So here, let's add a text module. Okay, so how do you see where this dynamic content is? So what you want to do is to come over here to this area, and whenever you see this icon here, that means that you can connect this to dynamic content. And in fact, if you leave your mouse over here for a while, you can see that it says use dynamic content. So what you want to do now is to click this and then define what content you want to pull from the database. Right, so if I click here, you can see here there's quite a few options. There's page title. In fact, let's do this as an example. If I go into page title, you'll notice that D content is our page title, and this is what it has pulled automatically. Now, what will happen is if I save this page and I create a page title, whatever page I'm going to create automatically is going to have the name of the page each time I create a brand new page. So this is what we mean by dynamic content, because we don't have to go in and type that name over and over again. Okay, so let's try another one. I'm just going to save this. We're going to come over here, and this time we're going to add an image. Okay, so I'm going to select my image here. So what you want to do next here is to click on link, because you want to tell Divi where you want this image to link. So I'm going to click here on this icon again. And then I can choose now where you want this to link. So this can link to the page link, to the actual page, or this can link to the home page. Now, don't be confused. Here I have custom fields. This is what I created for the next tutorial. So just ignore this for now. So yes, this is where you can link your image that you're going to add here. So every time you create a page and you have an image, that is where it will link, because you'll have defined it here. Okay, so I'm just going to close this for now. And let's look at other fields that we can add. So again, here I'm going to go for, let's try something different here. So let's go with In fact, let's go with text. Right, so here I can also link to something totally different. So we have author bio, we have site title, site tagline, we have current date. So if I choose that, this will show my current date. So let's say this could be part of our design. Our current date will be showing on this page template every time we create it. So the also cool thing here that we could do is before the date here, we can actually add something before it. So we could say today's date is, okay. So now that date is defined there. So this is how we can add it. We can also add something after. So I'm just going to leave it as it is right now and then save. Now here's the power of Divi. So usually when we use dynamic content without a page builder like Divi, the difficulty there is we can't go in and customize it easily. But now, because we've incorporated this in Divi, it makes it easy for you to customize. So we can actually go in here and define your fonts, the size, and so on. So let's go ahead and do that. So if I click here on design, this will be like pretty much any type of design that we've done, that we normally do. So we come here into the text, we can center it, we can make it all caps. As you can see here, it has changed, but of course I don't want to do that. Here, I'm just going to increase the text size, maybe to about, let's say 18. We can add some letter spacing if you want. So pretty much this is all the changes that we're used to every time we use Divi. But the beauty is we are actually making these customizations to the text or the content that we are pulling dynamically. Okay, so I'm just going to make this semi-bold, and then over here you can actually change your font like that. Okay, you can even add background colors and so on. So what I'm going to do next here is I'm going to do something quickly whereby our page is going to be able to pull our image, our featured image that we define when we add content onto the page. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to save this page. Okay, so we can save this design. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on edit page. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a featured image and some excerpts over here. So I'm going to first of all come here to my featured image, and I'm going to add my image, and I'm going to go with this one right here. Click on set featured image, and then for my excerpts, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to Lorem 2 and add my dummy text because I'm too lazy to type. Okay, so that's my excerpts. I'm going to come over here and paste it. Okay, so let's say this is how you create your page. All you do is you add excerpt and also the featured image. Okay, so I'm going to click update. And then over here now, if we go into our builder by clicking on use Divi builder, we can now define that content. So I'm just going to delete this image here, click this plus button. We're going to add a text module and define that excerpt. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to select page excerpt. Okay, now we can see that it has pulled that information. Great, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to add our image. So I'm going to click here on this plus button to add our module. So I'm going to select my image, delete that, and then I'm going to click this icon here, and then we're going to select our featured image as our image that's going to come over here. Great, so now that we have that, we can even go ahead here and link that image. So let's say we want to link it to our page link, or we can link it to our home link. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Now, if you want this to open in a lightbox, you can also go ahead and set that to open in the lightbox. Great, so now that we have that page, we're going to save. So the next stage now is, let's say you want to save this as your template. What will happen is all you need to do when you create a brand new page is to add your excerpt and also your featured image, and then that page will automatically be populated with this content because this is what we've defined in this template, and this content now is being pulled from the database. So this is how we use dynamic content in Divi. It is really, really powerful. So now in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use dynamic content using a plugin called Advanced Custom Fields. This is a very, very powerful plugin. You can actually design pretty much any type of fields that you want. So it could be maybe a website to do with, let's say, cars. It could be maybe pets or whatever it is. but you have now the power to define those fields that you want to pull from the database. Once you've done that, all this will be populated automatically. Okay, so I know I may not have explained this quite well, but if you still have any questions regarding this, please leave your questions in the comments box below. This episode has been made possible by DiviCake.com. Check out the huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link to that is in the description below. All right, so that's all I have for you in today's video. In the next video, I'll be doing a follow-up of this, and this is where now we get to build a more beautiful looking pages using dynamic content. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.